This video is brought to you by my new album entitled Dougal's Treats. It's full of hummable melodies, bluesy riffs and the occasional bit of virtuoso flashy stuff as well. If you enjoy bluesy rock guitar with memorable tunes and solos that wail like a banshee, then check out the links in the description. The premium version includes all of the tabs for each tune, videos and jam tracks as well. Thanks for listening, now on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That little jam there was me getting a little bit of mileage out of this device here. This is a Crazy Tube Circuits unobtainium pedal, and you might recall that when these came out a little while ago, they were launched to great fanfare, it has to be said, and all of the usual suspects when it comes to guitar-themed YouTube channels were gushing and waxing very lyrical about what this pedal can do and what it sounds like. So I'll tell you what, here's a little bit of an overview of what this pedal is, how it connects up, and basically a little bit of a closer look at what's going on with it. Okay, essentially it's two pedals in one. This side of the pedal is essentially an amp in a box, Dumble tones basically, and this side of the pedal is a Klon style overdrive. So, you know, a pair of names, Dumble and Klon, which are spoken of in hushed tones with a degree of reverence in guitar circles. On the amp side of the pedal, you've got this little switch here in the middle there, which toggles between clean and dirty. It's got ODS, which is the overdrive special, and it's got SSS, which is the steel string singer, you know, the clean and dirty Dumble kind of tones. You can also access that function via a foot switch that plugs in round the back here, or around the side rather. Controls, you can see volume, gain, tone and emphasis, and I wasn't really quite sure what the emphasis did, but I know I liked it set about there when I was using the pedal. Over here, on the Klon side of the pedal, you've got volume, gain and treble, just like every other Klon style pedal. You've got a choice between buffered, bypass or true bypass, and a choice between the kind of normal or stock style Klon or the higher gain mod. Round the back we have, I won't show it because I've got this nicely lined up in shot now and I don't want to mess that up, but round the back we've got you've got your input and your output sockets and an effects loop. So you could run this on your pedal board with other pedals kind of sat in the effects loop, you know, sort of, so you can get them at the right place in your signal chain for you. And that is basically an overview of it, and let's now cut back to the main camera and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. And in that little demo that I did earlier, I was using the SSS, the steel string singer voicing on the amp side of the pedal for the clean tones. For the crunchy tones I was using the overdrive special, and for the shoutier lead stuff, the overdrive special voicing with the Klon side of the pedal switched on as well. It is worth mentioning that this pedal is not what most people would think of as an amp simulator in the way that we tend to think about it. You know, it's not like some like a Tone X one, it's an amp profiler, isn't it? But it's not like some Line 6 Helix or something like that where you get served up the tone on a plate and that's all you need. This is not designed to be, you know, there's no speaker emulation involved, is what I'm trying to say. You will either need to run it into an amp or use some sort of impulse response. I tried a number of different approaches as I was noodling around with it to try and get the sound that I was going to record with. I tried it going into the effects return on the Blue Guitar Amp 1, and that was okay, but it just didn't sound, it sounded still a bit too much like the Blue Guitar Amp 1, if you know what I mean. So I thought, well, you know, I'll use an impulse response, and the one I ended up using was one of the stock ones in Guitar Rig. Is it Guitar Rig 6? I've got in whatever version of Guitar Rig I've got that one there, and you can see the preset is called American 2x12, and that for me just gave the sound that suited the pedal the best, I think. You know, I'm sure somebody that's more well versed in you know, this style of guitar tone would probably get a better sound out of it than I do, but it got me close enough. My kind of benchmark, I guess you'd say, for Dumble style amp tones are two albums by Robin Ford, Talk to Your Daughter from the late 80s and Robin Ford and the Blue Line from the early 90s, and that pedal was sort of making me nostalgic for those albums as I was playing through it. It was, you know, kind of getting me in the same ballpark. But, you know, it has to be said, you know, my usual ethos when it comes to getting an amp tone is, how do I make this thing sound like a Marshall? Dial it in, tape it down, forget it. So, you know, I'm not really, I wouldn't really consider myself an expert on dialing in anything other than what I like as a Marshall tone. The irony of it is that I love the Dumble tone as I say, personified by Robin Ford, and my main overdrive sound for many a year was a Klon style pedal, the new X-Horseman going into the Blue Guitar Amp 1. And you know, I love hearing those sounds, especially the Dumble side of things on other people's recordings. Santana, there's another famous Dumble user. But I just didn't like the sound that I was getting. Well, I didn't dislike it, but it wouldn't be a sound I would favour that I was getting when I was using that. I can hear that it's got that kind of Dumble thing to it. As I say, somebody with more experience of dialing in those kind of tones would probably get a lot better sound out of it. But for me, I don't think it suited what I do. I'm not sure it would be the right sound for me, but you know, it does produce a very good version of the sound that you know, it purports to deliver, i.e., you know, Dumble and Klon style tones. So make of that what you will. It's like, I love hearing people play strats, but I'm not really much of a strat guy myself when it comes to playing. It's that kind of thing. It's you know, something that sounds good when other people do it, but I prefer getting a slightly different, going down a slightly different road, shall we say. But there it is. That is the Crazy Tube Circuits unobtainium pedal. If you like Dumble tones, if you like the sound of a Klon style overdrive, might be well worth checking out. They're not cheap. They're about 240 quid, and more if you want the external foot switch to toggle between the clean and the dirty on the amp side of the pedal. Now I would consider that an absolute must if you're going to be using this live. As I say, you can plug it into the effects return of your amp. You can go into just straight out of this into a power amp and a cab, but you know, it's not one of these things where you've already got like an impulse response speaker emulation plugged in and it's just good to go straight into you know, a PA or FR cab or something like that. So there you go. That is those are, I should say, my thoughts on the Crazy Tube Circuits unobtainium pedal. Make of them what you will. I will just mention, and because I forgot to do it earlier, that the piece of music we kicked off the video with, that little jam where I'm demonstrating the sounds, as usual, there's a full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track to play along with yourself. That's all up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description, as I'm sure you know by now. $3 or about £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos, and a massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. But that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And don't forget the live stream, of course, every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we just drink beer and talk about stuff. Basically, that's all it is. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.